Okay, welcome to this session as we look at exploring the NHS Knowledge Library Hub following the previous transition almost a year ago now to the new EBSCO Discovery Service interface. So the NHS Knowledge Library Hub is available to help you find high quality evidence resources without needing to learn complex search techniques. So the Hub had a significant upgrade over the past year with more changes coming so you can focus on finding evidence you need quickly and simply. And for the benefit of those who've not met me before, attended one of my webinars, and especially for those who may be tuning in online at a later date, I'm Richard Crooks. I work for the EBSCO Customer Training Services team. I'm based in the East Midlands in the UK, in England. I'm a senior customer training specialist now with EBSCO for more than 14 years. And I typically train across the UK and Ireland and Nordics, so support library services in those territories, and previously worked as a librarian and related roles in the NHS in England. So glad you could join the session this afternoon. In terms of the session agenda, then we'll look at navigating the interface, look at natural language search, also highlight some of the changes coming to that, combining searches as well, and also saving and exporting search results. And of course, with that, also referring to further changes that will take place in the coming weeks over the next 2 months, essentially. So in terms of the actual training objectives, it is my expectation, my hope that by the end of the session, you'll be able to navigate and identify key features of the updated Hub interface. And I appreciate for some, this is just really a refresher as it's been around now for some time, although there has been some changes of late. You'll be able to conduct evidence searches using the natural language search mode to find relevant records. Also combine search terms and searches for more precise search results. And also you better save and export records in RIS and other formats for use with reference management tools like EndNote, RefWorks, and so on. And also you better create, store, and retrieve save records using the MyEBSCO account. Now, I hasten to add, within NHS England for library staff, there is EBSCO single sign-on, which means that once you've authenticated into the Hub itself, then you should already be signed into your MyEBSCO personal user account, which you will use to store records, searches beyond the session, and so on. So I'll just remind you of that as we go through the webinar. So that's what you're expecting from the session this afternoon. So just a reminder of the function of the NHS Knowledge Library Hub, which I may refer to as the Discovery Service or EDS. It is designed predominantly to support rapid access to evidence from journals, books, and other sources. That's from a range of providers that of course includes EBSCO, but others as well, and other publisher content. And there's a caveat to this that is not designed or intended for carrying out systematic reproducible searches of the research literature that are typically best delivered in the advanced interfaces, including EBSCO host. So, for example, we expect you to search CINAHL Medline separately, independently. You may start off with the Discovery Service or the Hub as a scoping exercise, but inevitably, for more systematic literature searching, you'll explore those databases and other related resources as well. So currently, it looks like this. This is the homepage, the basic or standard search screen for Discovery Service or for the Hub, as you know it as. So you notice on this page, guest access is enabled. So there's a banner across the top of the screen that will prompt users to sign in to Open Athens to get full text access for access to resources that you subscribe to, either through the national resources or local or regional resources, subscriptions, etc. So with that, there is a link there for Open Athens registration for those who need to go through that process, or if there's any issues with the Open Athens account, they can follow prompts there as well. So that's on the left-hand column, the dashboard on the left-hand side of this page, as you can see. So just to clarify then, if you want more information on what resources are actually discoverable within the Hub, there is this FAQ on the Knowledge Library Hub service desk page. This is the solutions page for the Knowledge Library Hub. So what resources are searched through the Knowledge Library Hub. So you can get an up-to-date list of those resources. Of course, these will be EBSCO's databases, but many more resources as well. So again, that's for more information. Also to add that EBSCO has this ongoing commitment to accessibility. You'll notice from the original screenshot there that there's a lot of white space on the screen of the new interface, and that's to support, screen reader navigation, reduce the cognitive load for users, and also meet accessibility requirements. And in terms of ebooks, EBSCO has an ongoing commitment to ensure accessibility. So that's in line with the European Accessibility Act, which was implemented almost a year ago now. And so these regulations emphasize equal access to digital information as a fundamental human right. So EBSCO supports this by integrating accessibility into its product development and to ensure broader usability and the impact that will bring. So some of the key features covered by the EAA would be the preference for EPUB 3 content, the text-to-speech functionality, customizable font size and spacing, accessibility based data for discoverability, also compatibility with assistive technologies, and flexible content presentation options as well. So again, the EAA was what took effect late June last year. So again, there's more information on this website through this EBSCO post, this blog post, if you're interested. In terms of the elements, again, we'll be looking at these. You've got the basic and advanced searching, the option to refine results using filters and limiters. There's the My Dashboard and research tools, process records, and there's some changes taking place for that, which I'll mention at the end of this session, and also the application of the MyEBSCO personal user account as well. So going back to the home page, once you've signed in, of course, it will look very much like this without that banner displayed. You have the single search box, which also allows you to apply filters such as full text, peer review content initially. We have links to advanced search. If you wish to do combined search terms on separate rows, you can do that. We've got the Peacock's guided search app as well, so you can create a search strategy using keywords, and a useful training tool for introducing junior staff, doctors, nursing staff to the concept of having a research question and using a clinical framework to create a search strategy. So again, it's a useful tool for that. Below that, we also have the quick evidence resources. So if you want to get access to the Royal Marsden Manual online, it's there. Likewise, with nice clinical knowledge summaries, and of course the British National Formulary guides for adults, also for children there as well. And then there's the panel on the left. Again, that's changing in the summer. So again, I'll point that out to you as we near the end of the session. So currently my dashboard features projects, which is your personal custom folder to store searches and save records. The save folder, which is the default folder for saving items when you select them. Recent activity, which is tracking your usage of this service. And also the alerts feature, if you want to be alerted to new content based on your search, etc. And also publication alerts where publications are available through EBSCO's databases. The research tools include the ability to jump back to the homepage through new search, Publications AZ, which is the publications finder service from EBSCO, which includes e-journals, ebooks where appropriate for your users, and you can browse that service and identify the full text content. You have further resources, which are additional links. Again, this is all on the left-hand panel. Publications Authority will allow you to review what journals, what publications are indexed in EBSCO's databases. So if you want a list of journals indexed in CINAHL or Medline, then you can see those there. It doesn't apply to other provided content. And essential links, again, Open Athens registration, Browse Journals, which is browsing from Third Eye, and the Help Me, which will take you to the help on the hub page from the NHS England site, as it were. So we did launch some time ago now, this is not so new, but a couple months ago, the date filter enhancement, which means that you can now customize the date range when you're searching, so by month or year, or just simply year. So again, you'll see that in operation today. So again, I won't say too much about that. So again, it's available both through the initial links and also the all filters page. So within the results page, you have all this toolbar here with all filters, the ability to limit by full text, peer review content, all time and source type, and so on. And then when you click all filters, you'll see the other panel appearing on screen. So we also support the exporting of record directly from the result list. As you can appreciate, when you're searching through the hub, you are going to retrieve a lot of records, much more than you would in CINAHL Medline, because you are searching across multiple resources. Of course, you can refine them further, but you can export up to 25,000 records. So if you're using this as a scoping exercise to scope the literature and you have that quantity of data, then you can export them directly, and that will allow you to generate a link page. It opens this page, by the way. You can enter your email address, and note you can use this multiple times in a 24-hour period, but the maximum number of results that you can export altogether is 100,000 in one 24-hour period. So for each setting, it's 25,000. You can enter your email address or that of the recipient to export records to, and choose the appropriate format. So whether you want to do it in XML, which may be quicker, or CSV for a spreadsheet, or RIS format, they're there. And then you can send that. Once you do that, you'll then be notified that your request has been approved, if you like, and a link to download the metadata for your results will arrive in your inbox in due course. And that link that's sent to you will be valid for 7 days. So this is also true of the export feature in EBSCO's databases. Now, I just want to mention using MyEBSCO. Now, as I said at the beginning, when you sign into Open Athens, then you will be automatically authenticated into your MyEBSCO account, as it were. So you won't need to sign in again, but this is just for information purposes. So MyEBSCO is a personal user account. It's your unique account, which allows you to store searches, results, etc., and also to use the export link feature and also projects as well. So your utility would sign in from the button below or create an account if you needed to, but with guest access enabled, once you click through to Open Athens, you'll be signed in any case as well. There is a tutorial here on this feature along with the dashboard. Of course, this will be updated to reflect future changes in due course, but that's just their information and I won't play that. But what I will do is spend the majority of the time now on the live demonstration. So we'll now go to the hub itself. So you will see that live and you'll see the search screen mirrors essentially what you saw in the slide deck in any case. So what I'll do now is begin to look at some of these features. So we have the single search box there. You can enter your search terms there. And just to clarify, if we go to the advanced page, just to show you that you've got the search options here, this shows us how we are searching within the hub itself. So by default, when you run a search in the hub, it's combining terms with the AND operator. It says find all my search terms means AND is inserted. So if you put in childhood obesity, it will look for childhood and obesity where those terms appear somewhere within the record of the citation record, as it were. Not necessarily as a phrase, not necessarily where they are near each other. If you want to do phrase searching, you can use the phrase search mode, and that'll find words exactly in the order you enter them and that they are next to each other. Find any is using the operator. Smart text searching just expands the search box so you can enter a paragraph of text or an abstract if you want to find similar articles, as it were. Natural language search, we'll explore that in the basic standard search screen in a moment, but that is AI powered, and it prompts a large language model to respond to your question or statement in the search box, but it must be on for that to be seen. If you want more information on the search modes, click EBSCO Connect, and then you'll see this page. It gives you a definition of each of the search modes. Okay, so this has been reconfigured for the NHS in England, for NHS library staff. So you'll see the search mode by default is proximity. This has been changed to phrase. Okay, so it's been agreed that phrase should be the label, and the actual operator behind this is the W0 within 0 words or less. So words are retrieved as they appear next to each other in the order you enter them. So there's been a slight change to the standard discovery setup. Below that, you also have the expander. So these have been applied by default. So apply related words looks for synonyms, plurals related to the terms you enter. So if you put in child, it would pick up childhood, children, etc. That are the terms used in the indexes of discoverable content within the hub itself. So obviously with the hub, you're searching across multiple indexes like the mesh terms or the National Library of Medicine, center headings, also from the NLM, Library of Congress, EBSCO's own general headings as well. So again, apply related words is looking for synonyms and plurals within those indexes, those classification schemes. Also, searching the full text is doing what it says. It will search through the full text content directly. And apply commit subjects is a concept-based mapping service, which basically maps your keyword search to a common term. So work-related injuries will map to occupational injuries. That in turn will be mapped to the relevant subheadings from the different databases that are indexed in Discovery. So again, these are just broadening your search. Of course, you can disable these when you're searching, but they are on by default, agreed at a national level. And for more information, go to EBSCO Connect. Context-sensitive help link there. Okay, so that's just the background to searching. Filters are there, of course, but we'll look at those a bit later. So for now, we're going to just run the natural language search. Of course, you do see the quick evidence resources below the search box there, and you can explore the collection from here. And we have the dashboard items on the left-hand column, including the Open Athens registration link, which I mentioned earlier. So to use natural language search, just simply toggle that on, switch that on, and then we can enter our query in the form of a question or statement. So what I'm going to do is search for what is it's not case sensitive, by the way, but what is the impact of Gen AI, generative AI, in nursing in the United Kingdom? Okay, so it's a form of a question or statement when you're using natural language search. This is going to be changed, by the way. It will become AI assisted search, so probably more explicit user that they're using AI here. But if we click the search option here, you'll notice there's a couple of things that appear on screen. First of all, while that's whirring away, you'll see there's a little link there. How does it work? And that basically introduces the user to this concept. So if I click that link, it will display this dialog box, and it gives you, it tells you what it does and some examples of the kind of questions you might want to ask, although these are not clinical questions, obviously. In addition to that, you can view the refined query. So how is it constructed, the query? So a large language model is prompted to create a Boolean query using the OR operators and operators there, as you can see, terms in parentheses, and there are synonyms like Gen AI or generative AI or artificial intelligence or machine learning. You've got nursing, which could be nurses, nurse practice, or clinical nursing. And of course, United Kingdom could be UK or Britain, etc. Okay, so again, it's just showing you explicitly how it's searching. And in addition to that, there's also 3 more choices. These are recommended queries that you may want to run instead of the question that I ran originally. So for example, you may want to look at the benefits and challenges of integrating Gen AI technologies in the UK nursing sector. So rather than look at the results below, you can see the key terms are highlighted in yellow in the title of each record or in bold in the abstract or within the subject fields. Now, if you feel those other questions are more related to what you want to look for, then you can simply click on that link and rerun the AI-powered search using that question. And of course, the query is generated from that. So right now you'll see more results there. Okay, and if you click show refined query, you'll find it's now added other terms like benefits, advantages, positive impacts, gains. Again, we still got Gen AI or generative AI, we've got integration, etc., and so on. So again, it's rerun the search based on the question it's generated itself, and also still can show you the explicit Boolean query there as shown. Okay, and the results are listed below. Okay. So obviously with Discovery or with the Hub, you are searching a range of content. So if I go to all filters here, you'll see on the right-hand panel, you have the content provider filter. Like click the arrow here. It shows us where the majority of these references are coming from, the complementary index, GAL1 file, APA Psychology and Behavioral Sciences collection, which is a EBSCO database, and that's subscribed to nationally. Medline, I've clicked more here, you'll see CNOW also. Now, one thing to note here is that you may have upgraded your subscriptions from Medline to Medline Complete. You may have upgraded to CNOW Ultimate from here. Those should be showing in this list. You should not see Medline or CNOW, but the upgraded version of those databases. Okay. Likewise, if you have Academic Search Complete, you would see this index, you would see Academic Search Complete as a database. Okay, so there's some configuration behind the scenes that takes place. We cover that in other sessions, but basically this is showing us where the results are appearing from, and you can also sort them by alphabetically, so you can see the 2 APA databases there, sent out, again, available nationally in the NHS, Directory of Open Access, etc. So again, you can see those results there. Also, you can filter, of course, once you've got these results. So you may want to apply full text here if you're looking for a full text article in relation to this query. You may also want to filter by date. Obviously, generative AI is a very topical subject. So if we go to all dates here, you can look at the past 12 months or 5 years or 10 years. But in this instance, we'll set a date range. So click the date range. You can enter month and year, or you can, and I will go for 11th of November 2022, because that's when I think ChatGPT really came into the public domain, roughly. I still remember emails or messages about ChatGPT at that time. So that's from November. And then you've got, we're in June, of course, 2026. So we can do it by month and year. And so we're not choosing 5 years or 12 months, we're going to 4 years, the last 4 years, and I'll apply this filter. So I've applied full text, and in addition to that, I'm applying the date range as well for the Hub. and then you can see the results. Still got 26,000 results, which is not surprising given the nature of the topic. And again, you see the yellow terms that are relevant to the query shown in the title, and then you've got the abstract with the key terms in bold there as well. Okay. And we can go further with all filters. For example, go to source type here. We can choose academic journals only. Majority will be academic journals from the various databases, resources. And then we can also go to all filters and choose others. So for example, you can see we've got peer-reviewed NHS repositories. We've got, again, content provider there, limit by subject. Major heading, that's where it's the primary subject. You've got limited by publication. So you'll see here +1, frontiers of public health, nursing reports, etc., and so on. Publisher as well, publisher content, and then by language. So I'm going to limit by English only here. So I'll apply this feature and limit globally. So again, there are ways in which you can limit further, to restrict what's seen here. One thing to note here also is that you have this feature more like this. If I click that button, what it would generally do, and it doesn't for this one, unfortunately, maybe because it's too short an article. So if I go to this one, basically it gives you 5 recommendations, articles that relate to this particular article. So you can see this one, if you want your team to use GenAI, focus on trust. So you can view the details here. You could comment if this is helpful otherwise, and then you'll see information about this recommendation. Okay, and you can scroll to the next one, etc. And you can save these items, by the way, as well as you go through them if you feel these are helpful. So they're just essentially recommendations based on the metadata of these records. Okay, so let's go further into searching. So what I'm going to do now is just check here and make sure that I'm going about this the right way, which I am. So that's natural language search. Now, anything we've done so far is recorded in recent activity. So you'll see that listed here under search history, etc. But we want to clear this. We're going to run another search shortly. So you can select these sets and delete them from here. Okay, and clear the screen and then click new search here. Okay. So we started off with a natural language search. Of course, you can search for terms here without natural language search. So for example, if we want to put, let's put anterior cruciate ligaments. And the autocomplete feature, by the way, that you see is basically generating a list of popular searches. These are from users across the globe, not just in the NHS, that you can select. So for example, if we want to look at reconstruction, then you can just select that term from this list, and then you can, again, go through the process of filtering. So for example, go to all filters this time, and go to, full text, peer review content, publication date. Let's go for the past 5 years this time. And source types, again, we go for 8 journals and reports and books. And then we go by, let's go by subject. And what you can do here, because Discovery is blending multiple indexes together, one database might have anterior cruciate ligament, another one might have anterior cruciate ligament reconstruction, you may have surgery or injury. So again, we can select all of these terms because they are relevant, and then you can again sort them alphabetically to see ACL injury, ACL there as well as included, and then go down and see there may be other ones that want to include. So we're looking at subject specifically now and update selection. So we're basically, if you apply language also, we're filtering by the subject in terms of the index terms. And you can see this one, subjects here. So these are for Medline. Medline there again, not surprisingly, a lot of Medline probably, some from CINAHL possibly. So if we want to check those out, we can go to the all filters option, and then you'll see under content provider, high CINAHL, Medline, Director of Access Journals, etc. These are all articles appearing in those resources. Okay, so again, you see the results there. So if you want to look at any of one of these, for example, then you could go into the detailed record. You can click the detailed record here. You can view the bibliographic information. You've got the access option, so you can view, link to the PDF here. This is libkey. This is libkey Nomad. Okay, And then I've got to just verify that I'm not a robot. Okay, and then it'll take me to the Science Direct page to get to the full text, hopefully, after a couple of clicks. So it's there. Okay, and you can process it through the way. Complete issue is using browsing. Access item uses the EBSCO full text finder link resolver. So again, this will take you through via Open Athens to a page or directly to the article if that's been enabled correctly. So in this case, it's open access. So we continue to the item from here and we come to this page actually. Okay. So again, some options there, and that's the detailed record. I won't cover all the features because some are quite widely known now because the hub's been around for some time. So again, this is just clicking through. If you want to look at other articles, full text, again, you'll see the libkey, nomad, link resolver, access item is again full text finder. You might say again, complete issue is browsing, takes you to the browsing service. As you see here for this journal, and then the article specifically. Let's see. What I do now is just jump to the more advanced searching if you wish to combine terms as well. So I'm going to jump to the top of the screen, click new search, and this time I go to the advanced search page here. So if I go to advanced search here, you'll see we can enter terms in the rows. We can qualify that with a field code if we wanted to search by title or author field or subject terms, etc. And we can add more rows as needed. So up to 12 rows can be added here. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is just do a search for diabetes type 1. So diabetes type 1, get that correct there. And then I can combine that with insulin pump therapy. Okay. If I want to be quite specific, I use double quotation marks for the exact phrase. But I'll combine it with a boolean. And here I can, of course, already filter. So I can, for example, go for like past 5 years again. I can go for English here. And maybe what I might do is also full text and peer-reviewed content here as well, and click search. So I've got results, still quite a lot of records, of course, given that it's discovery or the hub in your searching range of resources. So again, I can filter it further as needed. So again, I might go into here and I'll choose, let's go by, again, subject, let's go by subject again here. So type 1 diabetes, click apply, and I've limited it by the subject as it were. So just to clarify then some of the other features here, you'll notice for each record, you have a tools menu, a kebab menu that allows you to generate the cite tool for this. So you copy the citation to the clipboard in the preferred format. So Harvard by default, this has been configured at a national level, so it shouldn't need changing. The export citation, if you wish to export into RefWorks and EndNote, you've got this option here, or direct export into RIS format, as you see here. Okay, that's the cite tool. You also have the share option, and this has been enhanced recently because not only can you now share via Google Drive, OneDrive, or create a link to it and copy that to the clipboard, you can also email and enter your email address or that recipient. And notice now you've got the preferred display. So by default, it's brief citation. You can include the abstract by ticking the box. Otherwise, you've got the detailed citation now. So you have the additional option to choose fields when you're sending the article or articles, if it's a list of articles. So you can add language here, ISSN, you can remove accession number, for example, or keywords, and just send with those fields assigned. Okay, so that's a new feature with the detailed citation as an option for sharing. And again, that's also available when you select the result list and share. You'll see emails there as well. Again, you choose the preferred style. You can choose, of course, choose citation style, which in this case is Harvard. You can still include the abstract where appropriate and send accordingly. We need to, of course, enter an email address to do that. Okay. Now, one thing to note here at the moment, if I took this, you can see here when you select, you can select up to 50 records per page. Okay, and you can save those 50 records. We are introducing a larger limit which will be 500 in due course. So again, that's going to be applicable to the EBSCO interface as well as Discovery. So you will be able to process a lot more records than before. You'll be able to view more records than before. Currently, the hub is set to show 20 records per page. You can show 50 from here, but bear in mind, when you increase the number of results shown per page, it does slow down the system. So bear that in mind. So to check if there's any questions here, maybe there is, not yet. But if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the Teams chat, and I'll try to respond as soon as possible. Okay. Okay. So let's see here. So again, full text, it will vary. Mostly it will be, in fact, there's another one here online, which I think is open access. Yeah, Directory of Open Access Journals. So again, you can read this online. So again, you'll see a variety of links presented. Some, if they're PDF or online full text, they typically are from the EBSCO's databases. If it's libkey, that is obviously the libkey Nomad link resolver from Third Iron. Access item is EBSCO's full text finder link resolver. Okay. So we had to go look at that. Again, recent activity is tracking what we're doing. It's going to record all those steps that we've looked at today. Okay, so there is a search history coming for the EBSCO Discovery Service. So that hasn't yet been implemented for the hub. So it means when you run a search, you would also bring up the result history on the advanced search results page if you're using that page. So I don't think we've got that there. We've not got that implemented yet for the hub. So again, that is something which some may want to see, but again, that's something to review later as needed. Okay, and of course, if we go back to the search itself, just want to mention again, you can download references here, and you have a choice of formats, Word, PDF, Word, etc., and you can download. And the links, where available, will be included in the document that you download. Okay, so I'm just going to open this up, drag this across, and you'll see the bibliographic data, and again, persistent links to the article where appropriate. Okay, unlike the previous version of the hub, the new interface does allow bookmarking of the URLs at the top of the screen, so you can bookmark the record. So if you go to an article that's available, then you can bookmark that using the browser URL, unlike the original classic interface that you had over a year ago now. Okay. So we're moving on here. Just also want to mention the Peacock search app. So that's also available here on the top right. So this allows you to create your search query based on this framework. So typically PICO, population, problem or patient, intervention, comparison where appropriate, outcome also could be optional, and then with the time or type of study element. So if I was to add a search here, I'd enter my search terms. So for example, I can put in smokers, smoker. Okay, I can add the intervention. So it could be acupuncture, and it could be compared to nicotine replacement therapy. Okay, and the outcome will be smoking cessation. And then I might want to look at any randomized control trial. Anyway, for a type of study like randomized or RCT, randomized control trial. Okay, so I'm just keeping this quite simple. I have found that you can combine terms using Boolean operators as well. You can also truncate terms to expand the search. So again, there are ways in which you can, so for example, acupuncture, I can put in the asterisk, and that'll be acupuncture, acupuncturist as well. So again, you can use some of the syntax for the hub. So if I add to the search now, you'll see it's created the query, the Boolean query, and I click search. It will then run that search across all the resources that are discoverable within the hub. So again, whether from EBSCO, ProQuest, Ovid, NHS resources, etc. And you can see here we've got the links again to articles, and the terms are highlighted where they are relevant as well. Okay, so again, you can see that information presented. Okay, so you can access this one online, for example. You've got the PDF here, which is the original. So I click on PDF here. So the native PDF of this article, and notice on the right, you've got tools to save this. There's the double quotation marks for the cite tool. So you copy the citation or export it into EndNote, for example. We've got the share tool again. And when you email and it's available in PDF and online full text format, those will be included as an attachment by default. Okay. You can download the reference, the article, both in terms of the full text formats that are available and also the metadata only if necessary. And we also have the publication contents that you can browse for this article and the text-to-speech software. So again, to enhance accessibility to content. So you can listen to the MP3 or you can download it and listen to that later offline. There is a further option here. You may see this little icon here. This is the accessibility support icon on the top right toolbar, and that will allow users to request an alternative format if they're available for this article. So again, supports accessibility. So you can access this in Word or HTML. So that typically takes the 3 to 5 business days to be authorized and to be sent through. So there's a slight delay in receiving the alternative format, but it is available to increase accessibility to all users. Now, one thing this doesn't have is the translation option. So text-to-speech is applied now to PDF content, but within the full text content, within online full text, so just go to that now. Again, these are coming from the EBSCO's databases. There is the option of text-to-speech here, which also allows the text highlighting word, the word or sentence highlighting color. Also automatic scrolling. Again, you can play this online or you can download the MP3 for this. But we also have the translation option as well. So if English is not your native language and you want to read it in one that is, then, for example, you can change this to, let's go for Spanish Espanol this time, and it will translate this into Spanish from the original English. So it's a machine translation. You'll see in a moment it will be annotated to say that this is provided by Microsoft on the right-hand column. So you will see that when that loads up. So if I scroll down, you'll see now translated by Microsoft, and then you can revert back to the original translation for this article. So any online full text from an EBSCO's database, this happens to be from Psychology and Behavioral Science collection. So it can be Sin Ultimate, Medline Complete, etc. if you subscribe to those versions, but then there would be that option to translate accordingly. Okay, so again, that's using the Peacock app with the various features there again. So what I might do now is also highlight the EPUBs as well that's available. You may have access to more EPUBs than they have showing here on the NHS England version of the Knowledge Library Hub, but I just want to highlight this. So if we put in, for example, heart disease, or if I choose something that autocomplete these terms as well, then when I run the search, what I will do here is quickly filter to EPUB content. And to do that, go to all filters and choose the EPUB ebooks content, filter here, and then apply that. And that will narrow down our results considerably to 34 references. So we see these EPUBs now that are here. Okay. And then you can explore those in your own time. So what we can do here is, let's go for this third one here, Virtual Services in the Health Science Library, and you can go access options. You can view the EPUB full text online within the ebook viewer, as you see here. And this will give you the book cover and the ability to scroll through pages, as you see here. Also to navigate using the table of contents, etc., so on. Then you can scroll through that content there, go to different chapters, as you see here. You can also search within it as well, search within this ebook. So for example, if you want to search for heart or heart disease, then you can search and see where the terms appear within the content here. Okay. Now within the content section, you can also download a chapter or a section. So for example, this one here, or you go to a chapter 1 here under part 1, and I'm not sure why it's just showing me that. It's probably just a load of references there. So if I go to this one here, so I can go in and download a chapter. So there's a limit, of course. Publishers set limits on the kind of, and there's a DRM-free download page limit. So 50 is the limit here. So you can download this chapter off 15 pages, no problem. But it is noted. So in other words, if you download the 15 pages, you will then have 35 pages to download other content if necessary as well. Okay, so if I choose this one and download, I haven't done this for some time, and then I could save this. Okay, so it's saved now. I can download the metadata only if I prefer as well. Again, Word is there. But if I now do another chapter here, you'll see now that number's changed to 35. Okay, so again, that's there. Double check if there's any questions or comments. Okay, and in terms of accessibility, I mentioned this in with the European Accessibility Act, as it were, just to mention as well. If again, click onto another article here, another item, I view the ebook. Then you'll see we've got options not only to download here, we saw it earlier with the chapters, but also the display can be changed, the font size, the spacing, the word spacing. You have the different formats that you can choose from, etc. And also we have the text-to-speech software, so you can listen to this being read to you as well. You can, so I'll do that now. And again, there's a further icon there for accessibility support. So again, the user, the EPUB PDF is available. They can request also the Word format as well, in addition to the EPUB and PDF being available to them, again, or enhance accessibility. Okay. Again, it takes 3 to 5 days for that information or that format to be made available to the user. Again, there's the table of contents available, and you can navigate through different sections here as well. Okay. Again, if you want to change the font size, you can. Again, you can change this, change the character spacing, change the word spacing, and go to the default or airy or compact. Okay. So those options you can change on the fly, as it were. Okay, so doing well for time at the moment. So in terms of going back to the results here, again, you can, scroll to the top of the list. You can select and export as needed. So up to 25,000, we've got just 34 records, but we can export these ebooks and then choose the appropriate format. So for example, RIS format, and then send, and the confirmation appears on screen that the link's been sent, and that link will be available for up to 7 days. Okay, let's see. Okay, so again, you got the choice of displaying records on the page, the ability to sort by the most recent and as well as the oldest, as opposed to the most relevant, and you can see that now. Okay, and again, tools menu, which allows you to save the search. That will be saved into your save folder. So for example, if I put in heart disease and EPUB, ebooks, then I can save this search. Okay, close that, and that will go to my save folder. So go to the searches tab, and you'll see that displayed here. Okay, that's available there. Okay, so I'm just going to check some other things here. So nothing you can do with the MyEBSCO accounts. Again, you see MyEBSCO on the top right of the screen. It says sign out because I'm already signed in, of course. You have options to manage your account or check your preferences. Again, you can set your language here. It should all be set up for you, essentially, being based in England in the NHS. There's also the ability to manage your account as well here. Again, I would do that now. I need to go back here. And again, going back to the search itself, and if you want to save items, you can obviously save them from here and choose the save ribbon, but you may also want to just select and add them to the project. So add to project means that you're going to add them to a customized project. So what I can do now is create a new one. I'll call it NHS. Let's go for heart disease. Ebooks. Okay, so I can give a due date if there's any reason why I need to set a due date. For example, there's an assignment deadline. I need to send this information to a given user, then I can choose the date from here. So for example, for July, create the folder, the project folder. That's confirmed on the right-hand column with these two, right-hand banners there. And if you go to projects, you'll see that is now available. Okay, what it means is I can go to the save or go back to my search. Let's do that. And then I can then select these results and add them directly to the project here. Okay, and click add now. So if I go back to my projects and check that folder, you'll see the records are now stored here. Okay, you'll see them appearing shortly, and they're there. Okay, so you can edit this list. You can go in, you can delete records if you feel this is not appropriate. You can just go in and delete this, etc. You can also select from this folder the remaining items, as it were, and they're loaded. And then you can select these. You can download to PDF, Word, or CSV, or XML, for example. You can also export, as you can see, as you do a direct export of these records in RIS format from within this folder, RefWorks and Note as well. Okay, and again, you can delete if you no longer need these items. Another thing you can do is with the Save Search, if you go in back to the result list and you go to the Available Tools menu to save the search, you can then save it. Now, we'll again default to the appropriate name, or which is the search terms basically. So I had heart disease and ebooks in this case, then I can of course save this, and that will be saved in the save folder under my dashboard. Okay, so go to saved here. The records are already there, of course, and then go to searches and you'll see we've got this search here, and I can select and move this or add it to a project here. So again, same project, add now. So I can group my search with my saved records in the projects folder, and then it's shown here. Okay, so again, you may be familiar with all this functionality. There have been some changes recently. I mentioned the detailed display for the emailing, etc. For example, improved bulk deleting as well for items. So again, you can go in and delete this project if it's no longer required, or review other projects if you want to delete them, for example, and go in and delete them here. Okay, so I'm conscious about 5 minutes away from the finish. So I'll also just mention, in terms of looking up journals, you can, of course, search for publication. So, for example, if I do search for British Journal or British Medical Journal, and select that, then where there's an exact match of that publication, you'll see the placard appearing. So we have the BMJ here, and you can do a direct search within the publication itself. So again, if we choose a topic, so for example, if I put in let's go for asthma this time and run the search, then we're searching for this topic within the articles available through the BMJ. And as you can see, they're appearing there with relevant links and so on. Okay, so you can search directly within a publication. And that list of publications that appears, by the way, reflects your holdings. So it may differ with this account compared to your own trust account that you have currently. Alternatively, you can go to publications A to Z. You can look up the publication there. So for example, if I go to British Medical Journal here, again, the autocomplete feature is prompting me, and it's saying that this journal is available through your holdings. And again, you can see it here, and you can see how to access it from these links here and then follow through accordingly. Okay, so this is Publications Finder. So you can also go to subjects, browse by subject. So if you're looking at, let's go for, again, medicine, health sciences, you can look at cancer here and view the cancer journals that are available, full text. So this is DOAJ, Mid-Central there, etc., and so on. And you can view that content there. Okay, and of course you can filter to the appropriate database resource. So if we look at DOAJ journals that are full text, then you can explore them from this list here. So that's Publication Finder. Okay, so if I go back to the hub, we also have, of course, further resources. Again, there's additional content you can explore that are not necessarily discoverable. Just to add, the EBSCO databases link here currently only directs you to the classic legacy interface. Come July, when you switch to the new platform from mid-July onwards, this will direct you to the new interface for those databases. Google Scholars here, of course, as well. You've got the NHS Learning Hub, nice guidelines, links to other databases, TRIP medical database as well, so you can explore those resources from this page. Publications Authority, just to clarify, this again relates only to publications indexed in EBSCO's databases. So for this account, CNL is available nationally. You've got a green file there, others, Medline and Psychology and Behavioral Science Collection. If you've upgraded for Medline and CNL, it should reflect the upgraded version that you subscribe to. Browse journals is browsing, as I mentioned earlier, so you can explore their own website for e-journals. So unlike browsing, Publication Finder does incorporate other media, including e-books as well. So, for example, you go to medical specialties, you can look at diseases, so cardiovascular diseases, and then you go to journals. For example, let's see here, BMC cardiovascular disorders, and then look at the related publications there. So that's browsing accessible through the dashboard. Okay, and just to add then, there's lots to cover here, of course, and for some, obviously those who are watching later, this is just really a refresher, but I also want to mention here, you've got the help menu here, that takes you to the help on the hub homepage. So this is the NHS page, which Anna Fricker has been maintaining, I believe, and it includes also various short videos which helps you to better use the service as well. So again, while this session is about an hour long, these are literally less than 30 seconds, in some instances less than 20 seconds, but they cover various features that you may want to know about the hub itself, etc. So again, that's the link there. What I will do now, I will go back and stop sharing here and then go back to the PowerPoint as we begin to close the session. And we've had the live demo, and just to clarify there, we have these training support links that are available. Okay, so again, you can refer to them in your own time. You might want to use them for user materials, user education, to again raise awareness of some of the features, functionality for this service. We've got the training resources portal, so that is available to you. That collates the key information, a link to help on the hub directly, upcoming training sessions as well. So the ones that we run on the new interface for EBSCO Host, etc. And we've scheduled some for NHS England, and also the help on the hub page again from within the training resources portal, and also the help link from within the hub homepage as well, with the videos available. And also EBSCO Connect is our main support portal or port site, connect.ebsco.com. So it has additional information, tutorials on the Discovery Service, which you know is the hub, of course. And then again, what I would say here at this stage, since you're working in England in the NHS, if you have any service issues, any technical difficulties with the site, with the service, then please log them, raise a ticket with the NHS Service Desk, and they will escalate to EBSCO as needed. Okay, so please use that platform in order to submit queries, questions, etc. directly, and any that we need to be aware of, they will escalate to us. Within that service, there's also the solutions page I mentioned earlier. So you want more information about the Knowledge Library Hub, including searching, etc., you can go to that page. So just before we finish then, I know we're about done, just some upcoming changes. We are improving the user experience, making it easier to locate post-search filters and interface language options, for example, increase the capacity for additional links, also streamline personal account features for more efficient researching, and also tightening results page design to improve visibility. So just to clarify then, we are also going to reintroduce paginated search results for a cleaner, easier experience as well. So you can navigate between pages much more easily than currently. So this is coming in July, I believe, possibly later this month, but certainly by July. Left-hand navigation will move to the top of the page. I think I may have alluded to that earlier. So that will sit at the top of the page. And you have new navigation menus, which are based on your subscriptions. Additional links, that means you can add now 10 custom links as opposed to 4 currently, and the language selector will be available from the top navigation, so more explicit for the users who wish to switch to a different language for the interface itself. The dashboard again will move to MyEBSCO, so when you go to the MyEBSCO link on the top right, it will display the dashboard features there. And also the design of the search area will be adjusted so to help users reach results faster, etc. And the filter panel can be configured to default open by library administrators. So again, that is something that NHS England will specifically review, obviously, because this is centrally managed as well. Okay, again, paginated results will display at the bottom of the screen so you can scroll through or get through pages quickly. And just to clarify then, what is not changing? The advanced search results page functionality remains in place. Dashboard options and functionality are not changing, just their location or their placement, and any configurations you have made to your profiles. Now, of course, again, this is a centrally managed service. There are certain things that trust library services are advised not to change because of what's agreed at a national level. But again, it's not having much impact there. And this is going to be early July before this is launched. There will be no preview period. It will be live once it has been implemented for all users. And again, there's an article within EBSCO Connect which details that, which I'll just also highlight here on this page. So there's a link included in the slide deck. If you want more information about other changes, we have our EBSCO product roadmap for research solutions, including the hub or discovery service. So you can filter to discovery and view what's changing or what's changed and what is coming up soon. In addition to that, finally, so you can filter by the month as well for future changes. In addition, you can subscribe freely to the Interface Insights newsletter. So if you want to be updated to changes or be aware of what's changed recently, then you can receive that in your inbox. Okay, so we've covered quite a lot of changes there afoot, as it were. But of course, I will mention you can contact me directly via email at rcooks@ebsco.com if you have any further questions or comments to raise with me post-session. Okay, thank you very much.